3-day intensive Buddhist retreat where you sit. We had, all these people, like 20 or 30 people in our house, and my dad led this retreat, and you sat cross-legged, back straight, 1 hour at a time, 5-minute break, 1 hour at a time, 5-minute break. And by the end of the day, you're meditating 12 hours. I mean, I've climbed mountains, I have skied down, 55-degree slopes, I've jumped off 30-foot cliffs, I planted trees for 22 years, and I'm telling you, there's nothing harder than sitting in this posture, cross-legged with the hands folded and the legs crossed, back straight, with not leaning against the wall, sitting for 12 hours a day. It is the hardest thing I've ever done. And it's not only physically challenging to hold that posture for so many hours a day, but it's mentally challenging just to stare into my mind and my thoughts and my emotions all day long with no distractions, no TV, no phones, very little food, and just doing that. And we did this for 3 days. On the second day of the retreat, I mean, my legs were shaking. I couldn't even sit properly. I mean, my legs were bent upwards and I was shaking. My eyes and my back was hurting. And all of a sudden, after hours of boredom and just staring at this opaque nothingness and the breath and watching the breath and doing this technique called insight meditation, all of a sudden, in my belly, right down in here, there was this just cracking explosion of ecstasy. I mean, it was so bright. It happened so fast, and I just started bursting out laughing hysterically. And I would fight and try to stop, laughing, because there were all these people in the meditation room. And pretty soon I started laughing so hard I just had to leave. I had to get up and go outside. And when I walked outside, it was like I didn't even have a body anymore. I mean, I had the arms and the legs, and I could walk, but I was in this ethereal space. And I remember walking through this grassy field in the park in Vancouver, Canada, and I came upon these 3 weeping willow trees blowing in the wind. And when the wind blew through the trees, I was the tree. I was the wind caressing the tree. I could feel it, just like I can feel my face and my eyes and my skin. I could actually feel it. I was in this extended consciousness. And not only that, there was this supernatural ecstasy bathing the trees. And it just seemed to get deeper and deeper and deeper. I got so lost in these trees. And I remember these birds, these crows, walking on the grass, and it tickled me when they walked on the grass, because they were walking on me. It's like I was that connected to the whole. And all of a sudden, this vast consciousness, this beautiful, peaceful ecstasy, it was not like an exhilarating kind of a high. It was this smooth ecstasy. All of a sudden I could hear what the Hindus call the sound of Om, the all-pervading sound of the universe. I could hear every plant, every tree, every blade of grass, every unique plant had its own sound. And the sound was very silent but very obvious in this consciousness. And with all the sounds of all living things were blending into this symphony of the sound of Om. And I looked up, I remember looking up at the sun, and I was just in awe. I was like, oh my God, I can hear the sun. The sun was making this very high-pitched frequency sound combined with a very low frequency sound together. And it was also in the symphony of Om, and the sound of everything was merging. And I walked, and it just felt like I was made of pure consciousness. I was no longer the body.